your clan has how many clammers?
Three.
Three. Well, the other two can approach.
There's
You?
none, there's only one.
Huh?
There's only
She
one,
said
the
she
other two are
holds one.
vacant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, then you have no choice but to do it. You get somebody to speak for you, right? You get somebody to speak, but you've got to back her up. You get somebody to speak with a man who's going to get that go. You have one here, okay? Garriwillo tried to take them out, okay? But there was one, when I used to come here,
And Ollie, right?
No. The one before, like when Highway 81 was gonna be expanded, was Myron McClary, I think his name was. And he was gonna get that go here on the dock. And he was the only man from Onondaga that was up on the hill with us to stop the expansion. You know, none of the others came out until the cameras came out. Okay, but the thing is, Myron was critical of the council and how they were handling things and not just for that time, but for the years before. And he was talking about when they had gone to Washington seeking that recognition. And he was saying that we only needed our law, we didn't need the federal Indian law and that. But he said he was very young, he remembered that, you know, because we were young but he was a bit older than us but he remembered this. And he said and how he and others tried to put a stop to it, but they were totally disregarded. And so he stayed in opposition to what they were doing all the time because I guess he was installed at a time when, people kind of believed in that still. So when they didn't like what he was doing, so they deposed him from that position. They put Eddie Shenandoah in. And Eddie Shenandoah became, but they didn't call him Roskaragetegoa. They just called him the head warrior. You know, and yet at the same time they were saying there's no such thing as warriors, but they put in a head warrior. Basically, he was their bouncer, and it's really what they put in.
No, they say that there wasn't, but after that time, Ronnie Lee actually remembers Irving coming to the house and
Giving a letter to give to my father saying that that's what he was gonna be.
the
You
head
remember?
warrior.
I remember. Yeah. Yeah,
Kenny.
yeah.
But, so now since they say we don't have that at Onondaga, so is this Ollie is he the one who's supposed to?
No, I don't know. There's supposed to be. I don't know which Onondaga family is responsible for that. If it is Ollie, and that like with the Ganyagahaga, it's the Garihoga. The Garihoga. See, the thing is that the Garihoga family is supposed to raise their young as to learn to really be impartial, because when they choose one from the family to hold that position, we call the Ayunwas. Ayunwas, once this Turtle clan, the Garihoga, is put in that position as the Ayunwas, he is no longer of the Garihoga family. His family now is all the 9 families. It's just like Adodako. When he's chosen, he's from a family. But when he's put in that position, he no longer represents his family, but he has to represent all the families equally. He has to be impartial. And this is the Garihoga. When they appoint this Ayunwas, and that, because he's the most qualified, he fulfills the criteria to hold that position. But the thing is, some people will say this Ayunwas comes under the Garihoga, but he doesn't come under him. He works with the Garihoga. That's what he does, he works with the Garihoga, but just as equally he works with all the 9 other families. And so he's the one, when a family or somebody has something, like say your DNS who want to put something into the council that they're overlooking, they call him, they give it to him, and he'll take it to them. And he'll bring it to the wall and he say, listen, I have this information and this person could probably, could probably give them the floor and they can elaborate much better on whatever.
I think it's Hononwireton here.
Is he the Hononwireton? It's all in the Hononwireton.
Hononwireton, who holds that position? He sits at the end of the table, council.
That's Ollie.
He's just a big boy. His position, he's in grand council to watch over the cow.
Yeah, him and, Hononwireton and, what's his name? What's his name? Loran. The title. Hononwireton and the Skanawadi. Yeah, Skanawadi. Ja ne tar upp på vad det.
Yeah.
Aska nene yeah. Then they you one on each side. What you mentioned the other title?
Skanawadi.
Skanawadi. Skanawadi is on one side and Hononwireton is on the other side. Yeah. Yeah, that's the two. That's the Sayad. Sayad, he like he represents that seagull wing. The other one he represents a stick, the stick to cross out, and that. And so that would be Hononwireton would represent the stick way. Skanawadi would represent the seagull wing. Yeah, look at that. Doga. Now the one already know.
Does he know his ways? I mean, does he know his responsibilities?
Would you cooperate?
I think Ollie, right? Ollie's.
He's done it before. I've seen it in there. Somebody was talking, was trying to say something. He went over and went, he's not going to say anything. It's the two on the side.
See, the way I understand it, one of his responsibilities, it's not just to act. He's supposed to be teaching the people. He's supposed to give you guidance on what's the procedure. I mean, you can't be blind and him sitting there waiting for you. You know, he's supposed to be out in the community explaining to the people what's the duties. Then there's a couple of different ways of people explaining that. Huh? They say, "Ludino satsteristo." He manages the protocol, right? But in order for him to manage the protocol, he's got to enlighten you on the protocol. You can't expect to know something that you're not aware of. How do you have a voice in your clan, for example? You know,